Look at the cuteness. No, don't move. No one asked you to move, Jester. What are you doing? Oh, sorry, involuntary shiver because I'm standing right in front of the AC path. And it's freaking cold. But I happened to walk past and the lights were off because I was using a different light. And I was only over by my desk and I walked past them and see two sets of ears twitch. And it scared me at first, so I had to turn on the light. And then I see they're sleeping together. It's so cute. So cute. Hi, cutie pies. Did you see it ignore me? That's pretty cool. Big stretch. Yes, that's how she stretches. I finally caught it on camera! It is August 1st, and I am home from work. I didn't do much writing at work. I think I tightened up my outline a little bit for Hunter's Betrayal, and then I got home. I was so fucking tired, it's not even funny. I ate a little bit of food because I couldn't wait until dinner time, and it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Excuse me. And then I took a shower and got dressed, scrolled through lots of videos, and without actually doing anything because I'm still so fucking tired I can't concentrate on writing right now. I have hiccups. We just finished eating dinner, and I'm gonna go take a nappy nap. It's 7 o'clock, so my nappy nap may turn into bedtime, so we'll see. But yeah, no words for today, and that's okay because I'm gonna write some more words tomorrow. I cannot right now. I'm so tired, and I really have no reason to be. It wasn't like it was a difficult day. I'm just mentally drained, and part of it's because even though I haven't actually been writing, I have been thinking about the story, trying to figure out, like, everyone's always about the first 500 or 300 words, and I'm like, what am I gonna write that's actually good and people are gonna want to read? So, like, where am I gonna start the story? Because actually that was one of the comments made by my editor on the original draft, was like, there's a lot of telling here in this beginning. You're not really setting the place. You set the characters up really good, but you're not setting up the place, location, or timeline, and it is supposed to be like it is a prequel story set around in a small town near Salem, not in Salem itself, around the Salem Witch Trials. Like, Salem is going up in smoke with the Salem Witch Trials around the same time this storyline is taking place. So, like, I need to get that in motion from the get-go, and I've been trying to think about how I'm going to do that, and I'm still not certain. So that's one of the things I'm working on, and we'll see how that goes. But hopefully I'll get some words in tomorrow when I wake up from my nap. And yeah, so see you tomorrow for day 2. Hey Dragonlings, it is Wednesday. It is August 2nd. That's what I was getting confused about, is the date. So it is Wednesday, it's August 2nd, it's the second day of the hashtag August 80K, and I have a lot of work to do today because on Wednesdays and Sundays I'm aiming for 5K. However, I didn't write yesterday, so I'm actually aiming for 6.5K, 6,500 words, roughly. I am 1,300 words in so far after my stream, but that still means I have a lot to do, and it's already almost 2 o'clock. I've been doing a lot of other things in the meantime, and one of the things I wanted to show you was this. I got some books that I wanted to get, that I wanted physical copies of. I have the ebook of one of them, but then I wanted the physical copy of the second one, and I will eventually get the third book and the 4th book, because now there's a 4th book coming out at the end of August, I think. So, a book a week. We read this for Writer's Workshop, and I didn't like it at first until we started talking about it, because to me it felt simplistic, and it is, because it's a really short book. It's like 100 pages? It's not even 100 pages. The conclusion is on page 83. So it's less than 100 pages long, and to me it felt like the information given was really simplistic, but that's coming from someone who's been writing for 20 or so years, and during the conversations, some of the other people were talking about how it was really good for, like, novice writers or people just getting started. And I was like, oh yeah, fuck yeah, it is. And it is. And sometimes, especially like right now when I'm dealing with burnout so bad, it is really good to go back to basics. And I'm really enjoying my
think this is my third reread of it. My second reread, my third reading of it. And I'm really liking the way it's going. On top of that, I'm using it to outline Hunter's Betrayal using the examples that she got. Now, however, one of the things I mentioned in the live stream when we talked about this book was that I hadn't seen the movie that she uses as an example, and one of the research things I need to do is watch that movie so I can see, because I'm a visual person, I can see the plot points she's talking about with her example. I can read it all I want, but it won't make sense until I watch the movie she's using as her example. If she'd used a movie that I have seen before, I would probably still rewatch that movie, but at least I would have a better understanding of her example versus the movie. But after that book, I also got Right to Market, which is the sequel to A Book a Week. She has 2 other books out. Let me see if I can see what they are, because I do plan on getting them. Basically, what this happened to be is Justin got 2 books to finish one of his series, and I got 2 books. So, that's how we worked it. Let's see. It's Kate Hall. The series is Self-Publishing Success. Book 3 is Marketing Books for Free. And Book 4, which comes out August 26th, is Write a Good Book. So I do plan on getting those 2 books as well. But I'm okay with these first 2. And I think the second one is also less than 100 pages. Yeah, 56. This one is less than 60 pages. So that's cool. I'll be reading this one book next. And I'm going to be using this whole series with the Shifters and Mages series to kind of market them. I'm going to use them as my test run to see how this works. Granted, I am not writing Shifters and Mages to market. They were advertised as YA books when they were published with the Self-Pub. I think now that I'm with an indie publishing, I'm going to market them more as new adult, because the characters do age up to like college level. And there are some more adult themes in them that I feel are not specific to YA. But new adult is still a hard to market thing. So I won't exactly be following these, especially the Right to Market, but I hope it will help. And I will use the Right to Market especially when writing one of my vampire books that is like a forbidden lovers / fated mates / rejected mate kind of thing. So I will definitely be using that when I write that book. I've written that book before, but I haven't actually written it all the way through. But yeah, I have plans for those books, and they will be added to my craft book section. And I am creating a Amazon wish list. I've already started creating it. All I've got on it right now is books I want. Some of them are books I've read. Some of the books I know I want to read. And then I will also be adding books I have read and own and like, so that people who want to see like what I use or what I have used in the past and what I've liked reading, and they can try those out if they would like to. So eventually I will add that to my description, but I haven't gotten that far yet. So yeah, lots of work going on with Hunter's Betrayal. I am using my printed copy that I started hand editing myself based on the notes left from my editor in here. I also emailed my editor this morning. I think she's replied back, actually. I need to check my email. I thought I saw a notification on my phone that said that she had replied. So if she did, I need to read that. She did. Awesome. Cool. So I need to read through that and see what her thoughts are on the things I proposed to her, because I proposed several things to her. And yeah, I've got lots of plans. I've got lots of things I'm doing, and we'll see how far I get today with my word counts. Hopefully I hit 5K at least. I would like to hit 5K. Even if I don't hit the 6,500 words, I would like to hit 5K because it's Wednesday. But it's already 2 o'clock. I'm going to be working off and on until about 9 o'clock. I am making dinner tonight, so... because Justin made dinner last night. Maybe I'll have the girls make dinner. I don't know. Justin left to go get flour because I thought we had some, and it turns out we didn't. We're making biscuits and gravy. Kind of can't make biscuits and gravy without flour. Okay, so, yeah. Alright, I'm going to get back to writing after I check my email and see what she said. So, yeah. Bye-bye. I love my editor her so much. I absolutely adore her. I'm gonna start crying. I have to read this part of the email to you guys because it's... I'm gonna cry. So I mentioned in my live stream today that she has some health issues, and I didn't think after the series she would be working with me anymore. Because, like, I know she's not taking on any new clients and stuff like that. But she said, I am always available to you, for you, even if it's 20 more years down the road and I'm using 400 time magnifying glasses to read. I'm so happy you're working on this series again. Guys, that made my day. That made my day. And I especially like some of the things I brought up was Jenna's story. I don't remember if when we talked about it and made the contract for this series, I don't remember if I brought up one of the things that is in Jenna's story, which is now book 3 of the series. So like, I talk about all the time the fact that I don't write smut. I don't write a lot of sex scenes. However, there is a semi-sex scene in Puck's Choice. I don't think there's one in Hunter's Betrayal, and there is a scene where there is sexual assault, or it's rape. The main character in Jenna's story is raped by someone close to her, and it is meant to piss you off. It is meant to anger you. It's not as graphic as some of the scenes I've seen and read. Holy shit, the first thing that comes to my mind is Lovely Bones. Like, you know what's happening in Lovely Bones. Like, you are pissed off and angry it's happening, but it's not explicit enough to be, like, graphic, if that makes any sense. But, I tried to make my scenes similar to that, where you know what is going on, you know what is happening, but there's nothing really graphically explained. But yeah, so that was one of the things I was like, I don't remember if we talked about this, but there is this scene, and if you don't want to edit it because of this scene, I completely understand. And so yeah, like, that was one of the things I had to make sure I brought up just in case, like, she didn't want to take it on, because I know some people don't want to edit that kind of stuff. And at one point, when she was taking on clients, the one thing she was refusing was like really graphic sex scenes, really graphic horror, gore, anything like that, which not what I really write. I do write lots of violence, but it's not as gory as like some of the, what I like to call gore porn and horror slasher shit. So that was one of the things that I had to make sure she could take on. And especially since it's been so long, while we have these technically under contract at the same time as she told me, because it's been so long that we're no longer under contract, I'd be okay with it. Like, I fully accept that. But she just, that comment, man, oh, I really do love my editor, Edna. So anyways, I have to send Jenna over to her because she said yes. So I'm going to do that now, and then I'm going to get back to writing, because if I don't do it now, I'm going to forget. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I love this. I love this so much. There we go. Now we're recording. So I just talked for like 3 minutes straight without actually recording anything, and oops. So, now I don't remember exactly what I talked about, but I'm reading back through Puck's Choice, which is now the second book in the series, because I wanted to see how, like, the ebbs and flows of this story goes. I was also testing it to see, because, like, it's fully ready for publication, because originally it was supposed to be the first book in the series. So it was published previously, and then I sent it to my current editor and said, here, read this, what do you think? And she got it ready for publication. So it is ready to be published. The day I am ready to publish it, it is, I think I even have it formatted. I think I have it formatted and ready to go. And I have a cover for it. Now that cover needs to be updated because it says book 1 instead of book 2, but that's not the point. I have a cover for it. But I'm reading back through it, and I realize why I will probably never be the kind of person that can write exactly to market, because it doesn't fit along with the tropes that are popular these days and are like selling like hotcakes, because there seems to be a current trend in, these books were originally marketed as YA, And while there are some adult themes in them that kind of match YA these days, it's not as much as what you find in YA these days. A lot of what's popular in the YA paranormal fantasy genre is a lot of sex between near adult characters or nearly adult characters. And maybe those characters started off as like younger, and then as the stories progressed, they became old enough to have sex, or maybe they are minor characters having sex. I don't know. I haven't read a lot of what's popular enough to know. Like, I know a very big author in the genre that Puck's Choice would fall in is Sarah J. Maas and Cassandra Clare, and I can't get into either one of those authors. I don't know what it is about them, but I can't get into them. I've tried. I do know the reason for Cassandra Clare. I do not know the reason for Sarah J. Maas. I have 2 of her books, and I can't get into either one. So, that's fun. But, yeah, I will never be able to write to what is popular in its genre. So these are never going to be written to market. But they're good stories, in my opinion. And I remember why I wrote them in the first place. They will never match the market because I didn't write them for the market. I wrote them for me. I wrote them so that I could read a story I wanted to read without all the extra gratuitous sex. Because it seems a lot of books these days are not just putting like 1 or 2 sex scenes here and there sprinkled in. They're putting a lot of sex, and it's a lot of graphic sex. And I'm not here for that. And maybe that's why I don't like a lot of what's popular these days, is because of how much smut is in it. Even for what is considered to be YA. And that's a whole nother topic. We're not going to talk about why YA needs so much smut in it these days. YA used to be for teenagers, and yet we're going to put all this smut in the books meant for teenagers who adults are reading, which is why I don't care. But at the same time, then we're going to go and say teenagers shouldn't be having sex. Well, then why the fuck are you writing teenagers having sex? But that's another topic. We're not going to go into more detail than that. So, and that's coming from someone who has teenagers having sex, just so you know. Because this series does have sex in it. But like, Puck's Choice has 1 sex scene. Jenna's story has 1 sex scene. Hunter's Betrayal, I was reading back through it. It doesn't have any sex scenes. I don't think. Now I need to reread it and see. I'm pretty certain it doesn't, though. Because I think it's a behind closed doors sex scene that it has. And Mage's Sacrifice isn't going to have sex scenes that I know of right now. Again, that's another topic completely. So this is YA with little to no sex, which is very different because it seems I'm noticing this trend where stuff that I would think is YA is being classed as middle grade, and it feels like the only difference between what I think would be YA being classed as middle grade versus YA is the fact that it doesn't have sex in it. Like, okay, when you think Rick Riordan, you think of the Percy Jackson series. Yes, the first one was an itty bitty little thing, but each book got subsequently bigger and bulkier. And there's no sex in it. To me, Percy Jackson is a YA series, but it's marketed as middle grade. And it makes me wonder, is the reason it's marketed as middle grade because of no sex scenes? And so that's what makes it middle grade, whereas YA has all this extra violence and sex in it, and that's why it's classified as YA? Is that the reason? Like, I really want to know. I want to understand this. But, all that to say, I'm rereading Puck's Choice to kind of get my head back into the world and discover why I like this series and stuff like that. And I love it so much. I can't wait to hold this in a physical form in my hands. Because I want it so badly. I want it in my hands. I want paperback versions so I can read it whenever I want to. But now I have to go write it. I don't wanna. I like having it done. And Puck's Choice was like years worth of work and this is a funny thing I just thought of a little bit ago. I was thinking back over Puck's Choice and its journey, and I will have to do a full video about the journey of this entire series because it's been a roller coaster of a ride. But I remember back when Upwork wasn't Upwork. I think it was called what was it before it was called Upwork? I don't remember what it was called, but I was on there and I was looking for an editor for Puck's Choice. And at the time, Puck's Choice was only about 30,000 words long. And that editor at the time was like, this isn't a novel, this is a novella, this is a novel. You need to write it better, basically. And that's essentially what my editor told me about Hunter's Betrayal. It's a novella that's not a novella. It's a novel that wanted to be a novella and just can't be. So that's why I'm rewriting it now, and I'm thinking about it, the journey between Puck's Choice and Hunter's Betrayal, and it's the exact same journey because Puck's Choice also started as a novella. Let's see if I still have the original draft. I probably do. Let me see. It was called something else back then. Wrong file. Documents. So back then the series was called Apple Creek Chronicles. Let's see if this is the first draft of that. Yeah, it was called Apple Creek Chronicles Puck's Choice instead of Shifters and Mazes Puck's Choice. And this was 35,000 words long. It was in first person instead of third person. And it evolved so much into a new story. Nancy's name was also different. Puck's name is a nickname. Her real name is like Emily or something like that. Emilia, something like that. Really fancy name. Because her parents are loaded. Like her parents are high-end people. And she actually lives with her older sister in the story. But in the original draft, her sister's name was Fancy instead of Nancy. Yeah, it's weird to think of how much the story has changed over the years. But I will go over all of that when I do a video about the whole series and its journey from start to publication, what I can remember, because honestly, I don't remember a lot of what Puck's journey is, and I'll just have to take notes on what I do remember and look through all the videos to see if I can talk about it at all. So yeah. It's been a journey. And I'm excited about this new one that we're doing now with the rewrite of Hunter's Betrayal. Like, the only thing I have to decide now is one of the comments that was made on the edited version of Hunter's Betrayal was that it sounded too modern for the time period it's in, and it takes place right before the Salem Witch Trials. Like the Salem Witch Trials, the stirrings, the whisperings, and the things of the accusations are getting ready to get started in Salem when this story takes place. So one of the things I have to decide is whether or not I want to go back and use a similar language as what's used during the Salem Witch Trials, or if I want to keep it modernized and just put a note at the very beginning, hey, and modernize the language used. This is not how they talked back then. And I'm leaning more towards that because one of the reasons I hated reading The Scarlet Letter, which is right around the same time period, I think, was because of the language used in the dialogue. And I just could not handle it. And I really don't want that for my story. So I think that's going to be one of the creative licensings I take with this story, is that I keep it with the more modern language. I won't use slang or anything like that that I use in Puck's Choice. But I will modernize it a lot versus the Scarlet Letter dialogue language. That's the closest example I can think of. The Scarlet Letter, Crucible. Crucible's the other one. But even that, I think Crucible was modernized too, honestly. Now I think about it, I need to look up Crucible and see. Maybe get my hands on a copy of it. So, okay. Anyways, I have a lot of work to do. I still haven't hit my word count for the day. I've been avoiding it, basically. And the same thing I do every time I have a live stream and decide I'm going to do a lot of writing. I avoid that writing. So now it's time for me to actually get back to work and do some things and get it all done. So here we go. So I didn't hit 5K today. I didn't even hit 2K yet, I don't think. And I might still do some writing, but it's time for me to go cook some dinner. And I wanted to give a slight update on what I'm working on now. Fuck you too.
what happened was that I started reading the notes, and the note about the language used really got to me, only because I do want it to be more authentic to the time that it's in. And so I was like, do I translate this into old modern English or anything like that? I'm still not positive. I don't know. Would you stop it? My goodness, you are so needy. Look at this boy. Why are you so needy? What? I don't think he knows what he wants. Anyway. So I've downloaded some research about like how the Puritans lived and some stuff like that, and I've started reading through some of it. I'm going to be taking notes, or more notes, I should say. And I think I need to, if I want to stay on track for the 80K, I think what I need to do is switch tactics. I need to go ahead and work on the client story, because I know that is modern, and at the same time set aside some time to do research. I did do a lot of research back in the day, but I don't have any of my notes anymore. I don't know where any of it went. If it was printed, I no longer have copies of it. If it was on a computer file, I no longer have the computer file. I don't remember, but I can't find any of it. I used to have a lot. I think it was more about like the Mayflower Puritans versus like Salem Puritans, and what I'm finding now is more New England colony Puritans, which I think is closer to Salem. I don't know. I'll read it and see if any of it sounds vaguely familiar and go from there. But because this one is set in a historical period, I am unsure of what to do about the language, because I had a bunch of different sites tell me that they spoke close to what Shakespeare did, which is what I was afraid of. And I don't know about you guys, but I have trouble reading Shakespeare, and the last thing I want is for my readers to be alienated with a new series because they can't understand it. So that's where my dilemma is now, is do I keep the modern language, like the current modern language of like the rest of the books in the series, and just put a note that, hey, they didn't talk like this? Or I did find a translator online that can translate my modern sentences that I did use in the original draft and convert them to a more, my arm itches, a more like Old English type. So I think what I'll do is I'll take a screenshot of that and send it to my editor and ask her opinion, because my thought process is that I keep it with the modern language, but at the same time she might be like, no, don't. So, and it is easier to understand, like now that I know what the sentences are supposed to be, when I put them in the translator, like they make complete sense. So maybe it won't be so bad. What are your guys' thoughts? When you have a novel that's set in a specific time period, but it's geared towards a more modern audience, what do you do? Do you keep it in the language of the more modern audience, or do you put it in the authentic language for the time period it is in? I'm just curious, because all of the characters in this story are from that time period. It's not a time travel, it's not anything like that. This is a prequel novella about the events that started the whole war, and that's what I'm working on now. So I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. Let me know. I need to film this for prosperity's sake. I just finished up a sprint trying to work on the client story, and it's smut, and this is great. This is it's contemporary smut, not paranormal smut. So it's not as nice as it would be if it was paranormal smut, but still, 666. I'll take it. You know what? This amuses me greatly. I'll take it, no matter what. All right, time to send this to him so he can get a chuckle.
In my mind, I haven't filmed a lot. I have no idea what I've actually filmed or talked about in a vlog, so here's a little update. The anthology To Love a Monster, which has my short story Monster's Treasure, comes out tomorrow. I am currently doing August 80K, where I am attempting to write 80,000 words this month. I am working on 2 projects. The first one is my novel, Hunter's Betrayal, which is the first book in the Shifters and Mages series. It was a book that was originally published with a small press back almost 10 years ago now. And back then, the first book was Puck's Choice, which is now book 2. And book 2 back then was Jenna's Story, which is now book 3. So that tells you a lot right there. And this all evolved around Puck's Choice, which was supposed to be a standalone. So over the past decade, things have changed a lot. And I'm here for it. So yeah. So I'm working on Hunter's Betrayal. It's a rewrite of the novella that was supposed to be like a prequel freebie for newsletter subscribers that turned into a novel. So here we are. And it's actually poetic justice because the first book, Puck's Choice, which is now book 2, was originally a novella as well, around the same word count, 30K. And the editor back then was different from the person I'm using now, back when Upwork was under another name and I was using it for editing. And they edited it with the first pass. The contract said for 2 passes, and they screwed me out of in a way they screwed me out of an editing pass, but in another way they didn't, because their advice with their first editing pass was that it was supposed to be a novel. They were right. It turned into a novel, and that was actually how I found my current editor, because I was looking for an editor to take care of that once it was out of the small press's hands, and that's wrong. That's wrong. That's completely and totally wrong. I found her through NaNoWriMo sites. And we became friends before we ever talked about having an editor relationship. I don't know what I would be in that relationship. She was an editor-author. So, yeah. I don't know what I was thinking. Oh my god, my brain hurts. Anyways. So, yeah. She's now got her hands on Jenna's Story. It may be well into September before she can even get to it, and that's fine. I don't care. It's out of my hands. So she has now put her hands on Hunter's Betrayal, told me that it needs to be a novel, and that's what I'm working on for August 80K. Puck's Choice, which she has completely finished, and I've completely finished, and it's ready for publication whenever I want to publish it. And then she's now got Jenna's Story, which is book 3. And hopefully that will be similar edits as Puck's Choice was, which means it's not going to be a lot, just some stylistic changes, basically. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. And then I just have to finish book 4, which is Mage's Sacrifice, which I have 3/4 of a draft of, but it's in the wrong character's POV, so I gotta change that. That's fun. So lots of work to do that on that series before it's complete, but I am slowly working my way through it. And the goal is to publish the first 3 novels, Hunter's Betrayal, Puck's Choice, and Jenna's Story, at the tail end of next year. 3 weeks apart. One in November. Puck's Choice would come out on its original 10-year anniversary in December 3rd, and then book 3, Jenna's Story, would come out 3 weeks after that. So I've got a whole publishing plan where that's concerned, and I am hoping to hit it, so at least with the first 2, but that means I need to get some work done on this book, which requires me to do a lot of research, because all of my research notes that I had done many, many years ago when I first wrote this draft are gone, and I don't know where they are. They might be in one of my drawers somewhere amidst all the other random paperwork I have, but I don't know. I don't know where they are right now. So that means starting from scratch, which is fine, because the other project I'm working on for August 80K is the client story, which is supposed to be about 30,000 words, and I'm already 5,000 words into it, 6,000 words into it, something like that. I think 6,000 words into it. 5,000. 5,000 words into it. I'm going to write some more today and see how far I can get with that. And then I've got a couple other things I gotta get done today. It's 3:30 in the afternoon. I'm waiting for a video to finish uploading, which is another vlog. And then once that is done, I've got some other things I gotta do. So, staying busy, getting things done, getting there. That's pretty much an update. Everything that's happened this week. And I don't know what else to tell you, because I don't know what else I've filmed this week. So, apologies if I've repeated things that I've already talked about this week, and reminders if I haven't. So yeah, it's been pretty busy week, all things considered. This month is supposed to be an easier month than the previous months have been, but while it has been in a lot of ways, it hasn't been in others. So I'm just going with the flow. Athena made a comment about the fact that she's judging me for the fact that I don't have the porn star book next to the Holy Bible, but I need to point out the porn star book is next to the baby name book, because this was sitting in my room instead of on the shelf where it belonged. I use this for character names, by the way. And the Holy Bible is sitting next to the Genius and Heroin book. Oh my god. That's great. But
just to make Athena happy. So my OCD makes me put books on the shelf, not by order when it's nonfiction or like classification, like other than all my writing books go together. No, these are sorted by size and how far they stick out on the shelf. So like this is the one that goes the furthest in and is the shortest, and it goes all the way to the furthest out and the tallest. So that's how I have this organized. But just for Athena, just for this clip, it's touching it. Oh no. What are we ever gonna do? I'm going to hell for this. To show you guys this. This is awesome. It came out a couple hours early for me. It's 10 o'clock and I just got a notification on my phone that it's been delivered, and I downloaded it and it's now on my Kindle. So yeah, To Love a Monster is officially out. This is my first published work all year. I'm gonna go cry now before I go to bed. I don't know if I could. I can't read it tonight because it's already past my bedtime. I have to go to bed. I have to get some sleep before work tomorrow. But do you know how good this feels? It feels so good to have a book out, guys. It feels amazing. Alright, I'm gonna go to bed. I have work tomorrow. Bye.